Today's video is gonna be a bit special. It's a little bit different. We're not going to be talking about politics today. Instead, we actually wanted to tell you a bit more about VisualPolitik itself. In other words, we're going to talk about this channel because, well, we've got some important news to tell you. A few weeks ago, we marked the 1-year anniversary of this channel, and today we're well on our way to 500,000 subscribers, and every day 100,000 people view a video. Now, whenever you start a new business or a YouTube channel, there's always some risk attached to that, and honestly, we all at VisualPolitik felt that starting a political channel on YouTube, it was kind of a particularly big risk. Informed rather than sensational politics on any medium, especially YouTube, is not exactly a super hot topic. It's not an exciting vlog, it's not a gaming channel, it's not even top 10 lists. And quite honestly, while we hoped it would do well, we didn't really expect that the channel would grow in quite the way that it has. Now, as many of you might know, this is not my first channel. In fact, I have 3 other YouTube projects on the go right now. So, well, now you might be wondering, well, what made me choose to start this one in particular? What made me think that VisualPolitik was a good idea and worth all of the risk? Well, in this video, I want to tell you that story. Wherever you're watching this video from, I am willing to bet there is plenty of media coverage about politics. I'm sure there are news outlets and political talk shows of all stripes satisfying both sides of the political spectrum. And I really don't want to focus on criticism here because many of these news outlets do truly outstanding journalism. But in general, there are a couple of issues. The first one is emotion. The media playbook on politics says that people who watch news do so to confirm their views. If you're conservative, you'll watch conservative news, and the exact same thing goes if you are liberal. Media gurus will tell you that the way you make politics appealing is by showing emotion and also showing confrontation. This is exactly why so many shows tend to exaggerate their political positions. It creates a bigger conflict. Now, the chances are you already knew that, but like I said, there were a couple of issues here, and the second one is one that you might not be so familiar with. You see, by definition, journalists are focused on exceptional facts. Consider this aphorism from journalism. A dog biting a kid is not newsworthy, but a kid biting a dog is. This has actually been the cornerstone of political news since forever. Let me give you a more real-world example here. Anytime an oil tanker sinks, this will hit the news. On and on go the extensive reports, the interviews with experts, and all kinds of extended analysis. But nobody's talking about the thousands of oil tankers that don't sink. All of the thousands that simply make it to their destination on schedule and without problems. And despite what you might think from all that media coverage, those ships, the ones that go on those regular journeys, they are the ones that have a far bigger impact on your life, because I'm willing to bet that the price of fuel for your car affects you far more than that last oil tanker sinking off the coast of somewhere. But the reality is that we build our perception of reality based on those rare happenings, not the normal everyday realities of life. And this leads us to not really understand the reality of life at all. And now let me give you another example, this one with a bit more of a VisualPolitik flavor. Africa. Unless you are a regular VisualPolitik viewer, you might still think of Africa as an entire continent full of poverty and misery. And why is this? Well, that's because when a journalist talks about Africa, he talks about the exceptional things. A war in Congo, corruption in Angola, starvation in Somalia, and on and on and on. But economic progress, it's not some exceptional event, it's just something that ticks along, little by little, day by day. Never really a big enough story to make the headlines. And headlines are what people read. They're what people have been conditioned to care about. And it's not just Africa, that's just a random example. It's the whole world. I mean, ask the man on the street what the status of the world is today, and he's probably not going to be full of optimism. The world is war, the world's poverty, it's corruption. But do you know what the dog biting the kid of this story is? The oil tanker that arrives safely to its destination? Well, that's the simple fact that we live in the best time in history. And this is not an optimistic, dreamlike viewpoint. It's absolute reality based on facts. We've got the growing middle class in Asia, a clear path to the elimination of starvation in Africa, and life expectancy is higher than ever before pretty much everywhere. Our hope is that if you're watching this video, you want a realistic view on the world, not one slanted by popular media desperately needing to show you conflict and emotion. And this isn't just about giving you an informed opinion for the sake of it. It's about giving you an informed opinion because many negative elements of society take advantage of people who believe that the world is in trouble. Very little is better than that at polarizing a society, at stirring up populist movements, and on the micro level, even causing us to make bad decisions in our day-to-day lives. Alright, so far, a lot of big talk. But what does VisualPolitik actually have to offer you here? Well, we're here for context. We're not competing with traditional media. We're not trying to get in that 24-hour news cycle. And don't get me wrong, it's absolutely great to be reading newspapers and watching TV news. They're going to tell you the daily news. But we're going to give you the trends and the movements that are changing our entire world. This is why on VisualPolitik we love to compare one country to another or dive into the history of a situation in depth before we tell you what's happening in the present day. Context is so important, and it's so often missed by TV news because they need to get the story that is breaking that very moment, the story that's breaking that hour, even the story that's breaking that minute. But most important of all is that we do this while keeping our independence. Not every media outlet or even YouTube channel can say this, but VisualPolitik is 100% independent. There's no think tank behind the scenes writing checks, there's no company providing us with a fancy office, and there's no political party peddling influence. There's no hidden agenda here. We publish our content in English and Spanish, and we are funded 100% by our own resources. So now you might be wondering why throughout this video I've talked about we rather than just I or me. And that's because, as you can probably imagine, there's a team behind me. There's a team helping me create the best content possible here. We're 4 people, if you include myself, and if you want to see the other guys behind the team, check out the Spanish language channel. They present all of the videos over there. And this is not some easy job. Behind the scenes of every video here, there's between 15 hours and 25 hours of research. All of our sources are double-checked, and we make sure that all of our stories meet the highest standards. Oh, and then comes the actual writing and the editing and the recording and the production and the channel management and, well, on and on and on. Alright, so in a very VisualPolitik way, let me address a few critics very quickly, because there's probably people wondering in their minds now, do you really have no viewpoint? Do you have no bias at all? I mean, are you completely neutral when talking about each and every issue? And the honest answer there is no. In fact, nobody can be completely neutral when talking about politics, not even in theory. From the very moment one topic is chosen over another, a point's already being made. It's just totally inescapable. So with that in mind, what is our view and what is our bias? Well, I think it's probably best described in a more positive light as a principle, and that principle would simply be freedom. We believe freedom should be an absolute core value of politics, more specifically respect for the freedom and the civil rights of people to the greatest degree possible. Another principle we stand for is cultural understanding. We've consistently stated that free trade between countries and cooperation among peoples is the best mechanism for peace and prosperity on a global scale. As we've demonstrated in many videos, the evidence shows that isolationism and protectionism do not lead to anything good. But finally, our most important principle is not to be dogmatic. Everything we say is fact-based, and we can have our minds changed if someone gives us a good reason to change them. This is why your feedback and your comments are so important to our project. You, the viewer, provide us with new information and new sources, and many of our videos are made simply because one of you contacted us with information about a country and said we should make a video about it. So all of that was a really long way for me to introduce you to something that you probably already know quite a bit about. But now let me tell you something you don't know. Let me tell you where we want to be in the future. We want to go further. We want to make more content. We want to make more videos in different formats. We want to go to different places around the world and show them to you. We want to introduce you to the people behind the stories, the people who really are changing the world that we live in. Oh, and on top of that, we also want to have our own website with more VisualPolitik content. In summary, we want to take VisualPolitik to the next level and take this community that we've built along with us. And we need your help. Many of you have asked us already why we don't have a Patreon page, and the truth is that it's something that we've been considering for a really long time. The truth is that we realize that if we want to do more, we need more, and we need a way to do it while maintaining independence. And now everyone out there who wants to help us can. If you want to, you can join us in taking VisualPolitik to the next level. And just quickly, for those of you who don't know about it, Patreon is a platform that connects creators with those who want to contribute financially to that creator. But look, we're not taking anything away here. That's really important to say. The classic VisualPolitik videos that we post every week on YouTube will always be available to everyone for free. But now, for less than what you pay for a beer, you can make all our ideas, more videos, more specials, a website, and even potentially books, a reality. Further, if you do contribute, you're going to get access to exclusive content as well as plenty of other surprises. If you click the link in the description box below, you can check out our Patreon page and learn more about the goals that we've set. And of course, on their page, you can choose the type of commitment that you might want to have. And finally, well, I'd like to use this opportunity to thank you for your support. Thanks to you, VisualPolitik is possible. So to everyone who's watched and shared our videos, sent us music, sent us ideas, left us comments, well, a big thank you from me and the rest of us. Now, I'm sure over the next year we're going to continue to grow into an even greater community with more possibilities, and without you, none of that's possible. So once again, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.